good. Look who's here. Look what time it is. It's Sunday afternoon Bible story time. Yes, it is, Chesley. It's Sunday afternoon Bible story time. We're so happy to be able to tell this story. Oh, it's a good one. Stubborn like a mule. Stubborn like a mule is the name of that's what our lesson's going to be about. Oh, I don't want to be like that. No, Chesley, we don't want to have an attitude like a mule. Be stubborn. You can't get anything done with somebody that's stubborn. I don't want to I just don't want to go to bed. Well, I know you don't want to go to bed. You're not in bed. You're out now to tell the Bible story. And my name is Chesley, and this is Karen, and I'm going to sing the theme song. You need to sing the theme song. That's kind of hard to say. Sing the theme song, because that is a good thing. This gospel train is chugging at the track, it's chugging at the track. This gospel train is chugging at the track, chugging to the glory land. Oh, get on board this gospel train, yes you can, get on board this gospel train, yes you can. Yes, Chesley, who can get on the gospel train? Anyone that wants to live for Jesus, live for Him, love Him, and serve Him. And you can't be like a mule. You can't be like a mule. No, Chesley, we have to follow our leader, our wonderful leader, Jesus, and He just has good things in mind. That's it. He has nothing but good things in mind for us, so it's good to have a leader like that. We're going to talk about a man today that started out being very, very kind, and he was very, what we would say, humble, and he was obedient. He was obedient to the Lord, and he just felt like that he couldn't do anything except God would help him, and that's the right attitude. That is the right attitude. But Chesley, we're going to find out whether he did that or not. And could I sing some more of that song? Yes, you do need to sing some more of that song. Gonna see Jesus, yes I am. Gonna see Jesus, yes I am. Up in the glory land, this gospel train is chugging at the track, it's chugging at the track. This gospel train is chugging at the track, chugging to the glory land. Yes, Chesley, and that is a good theme song, and so let's keep that in mind. Where we're going, we can't forget. And sometimes it seems like it's a long ways. Yes, on trips, sometimes, Chesley, it just seems like the road just goes on and on and on. Will it never end? Yes, it will finally end. If you keep driving, if we keep driving, we're going to make it to our destination. Chesley, now, we've got to get on with the story, because this is important, Chesley. This lesson it's about having a good attitude. Having a good attitude is important. I think parents like that. Yes, parents, they're concerned about the attitude of their children. And they want them to mind. Yes, we need to mind. And, things go really well. Let's say if you're trying to get something accomplished and you've got somebody that's stubborn and they won't do what they're supposed to do. No, when they just hang back and say no, and they don't want to do it that way, and everybody else is cooperating, but if you have one person that they won't cooperate, and then you can't get things done, it's just done this. And sometimes it makes then just a whole bad atmosphere in the whole room. And Chesley, what are you doing? Oh, I was just flirting with the girls. You was just flirting with the girls. Okay, I guess that's all right. Because I only get to do it once a week. Well, okay, so, but let's don't do it where it's just distracting. Well, you're the one pulling the strings. Okay, Chesley, you don't have to tell everything. But Chesley, in our story today, we have a man by the name of Saul, and he became the king. And he was chosen because he was the biggest and the strongest. Well, Chesley, the Lord was looking for a man who would be very humble and who could lead the people. And he found a man. He was a real tall man, but he was very bashful, and he didn't have any confidence in himself. That he trusted in God? Well, when he found out God had chosen him, he was just shocked. And he could, well, it's because he was the biggest. No, he wasn't chosen because he was the biggest, but the Lord saw something in this man that he didn't think he was the big it. And he looked like a man, and the Lord knows hearts. He knew exactly what he was going to do, but he chose this man. Here he was now. He was being humble. He was being yielded to the Lord, and the Lord could use a man like that. He can always use a man and a woman that loves him and serves him and does what he says, because he's got good things in mind. He's got the best plans. He's got the best plans. That's right, Chesley. He has plans that are so good, and all we have to do is follow his plans. And they're in his word. That's right, they're in his word, so it's easy enough. Because he has them in his word, and he gives us direction what we are to do. And so he chose this man, but when he found that he was chosen, he went and hid. Why did he hide? He didn't have to. He got promoted. Well, he was getting promoted, but he didn't feel like he could do it. He didn't feel like he was up to the job. That's it. I'm just not up to the job. I don't know how it could be me. Well, the Lord could use this man if he would let him use him. And so he did. He was able to use this man for a while, and we don't know what happened, Chesley. Did he change something somewhere in his mind? I think it was the devil. You know, Chesley, we do have the devil that wants to talk to us, and he listened. But and when I read the Bible, I read the scriptures in there, and I can't find, well, what happened? Why did he do this? You don't have the choice to know. He made his choice. And Chesley, that's what we have to remember. We have a choice to make. Each of us choose whether we're going to live for God or not, whether we're going to stay faithful. And so what happened to this? What's the whole deal here? What went on? Well, Chesley, the Lord had spoken to him. We're going to go back into 1 Samuel. Let's get our scripture. 1 Samuel chapter 13, and where at one point he was supposed to wait until the priest came, and this man that was chosen, this prophet that we had, was Samuel, and he was to listen to him because he was God's man. And so God was going to give him direction, and he was supposed to follow. And he had been doing that. Chesley, he had been doing that. And so Samuel said, I'm going to be here in 7 days. Well, it turned out that Samuel was delayed or whatever. He wasn't there. And so then Saul didn't know what to do, and so he's going to take over. Well, Saul decided he would take over, and he would just do the job of the priest there. Oh, Chesley, you don't intrude in that office. You know, God had a plan for the priest, and he had a plan for the king. And he wasn't supposed to do the other person's job. And he did it anyway. He offered the sacrifice. He did. Well, here comes Samuel. And he said, what did you do? And he said, well, I kept waiting and you didn't come. But he had seen right then and there, we saw in his heart, you could tell that Saul had decided that he was going to do his own thing. He got stubborn. Self-willed. He just decided, well, because I'm king, I can do what I want to do. Chesley, that just may have entered his mind. Well, I'm king, and so I'm king. I mean, you know, I'm over everybody, and so I can do this. I can do anybody's job I want to do. But Chesley, that's not how God saw it. And God had a plan for him. And already he sees what's happening. And so he's going to get rid of him. No, he didn't get rid of him. God wanted to give him an opportunity to do right. But Chesley, we have to watch here what happened. He had a son that was watching him. He had more than one son, and he had a whole nation. And they're going to follow his example. Some of the people will follow his example. So that's one thing we have to watch, even as a child. You know, people are watching children. You know, they watch how they play. They watch if they're stubborn, if they obey, like a teacher. Can you imagine what it'd be like to have a classroom of kids that were all stubborn and rebellious, and they just disagreed, and they just self-willed and do their own thing? I don't think you could get anything done. It'd be hard to be a teacher. It would be very hard to be a teacher. But you know, Chesley, if we do that to our teachers or to our parents, that's how you'll begin to think you can do God, that you can do like that to him, that you can be unkind and ungrateful, and you can be rude and disrespectful. And I tell you, it won't work. That's a very dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous thing. Well, what Saul did, he just kept on being like that, rebellious and doing his own thing. Came a later time when the Lord told him, I want you to go, and all of the Amalekites are the enemy, and I don't want you to don't bring back any of their animals. I don't want you to bring any of their people. I want you to come and take care of all of them. There's not to be any of them left. And so, well, Saul didn't obey. So when Samuel came and he checked up on him, and well, here came King Saul. No, I did the will of the Lord. That's exactly right. That's what he said. He just before Samuel even asked, the prophet even asked, he just said, "Oh, guess what?" He said, "I did exactly what the Lord said to do." And then Samuel said, "Just a minute, don't I hear something?" Yes, Samuel said, "I hear something. You're telling me you obeyed the Lord, and you were not to bring any captives. There was not to be any animals. You were not to do that. All those were to be taken care of back there." Oh, And he said, well, it wasn't my fault. No, it was his fault. He's the king. That's right. Remember, he says, I'm the king. I can do anything I want to do. That's what he did. I think, you know what he did? I think he blamed. He did. He blamed others. He said, oh, well, it was the people. They was the ones that did that. It wasn't me. Oh, and then you know what? Samuel looked at him and he said, God is very disappointed in you. And said, because you're going to be like this, you're going to be rebellious and you're not going to obey. He couldn't use him. He said, you can't be king anymore. I can't have somebody like this. I chose you because when you were small in your sight, that's what Samuel, the Lord told him to say. He said, when you were small in your sight and when you felt like you couldn't do anything by yourself, did you was trusting in God? Yes, that he would trust in God. That's the man he could use. But now, he said, you have become like this. And he was like a mule. He was stubborn like a mule. He was stubborn like a mule. He wouldn't obey. But what happened, they're his people, many of them, they would follow his example. They would follow his example. Chesley, that's exactly right. But you know one thing, you don't have to do that. When others do wrong, you can do right. That's right, Chesley. I'm glad you said that. We can do the right thing. You can do the right thing. Pardon me, I'm getting these names confused. And you shouldn't do that. I'm not going to help you. Well, I wish you would help me, Chesley. What you need to say is that Saul had a son named Jonathan, and he was obedient. That's right, Chesley. That's what I meant to say. That is the right thing. He had a son named Jonathan, and he wanted to live for God. He was going to live for God, even though his dad was being stubborn like a mule. He was being stubborn like a mule. Jonathan wasn't. Jonathan wanted to be faithful to the Lord. That's what he wanted to do, honor the Lord. And so he got blessed. He did. He got blessed. And there was times when it came, just he and his armor bearer, they went up and won a big battle. Just the two of them. And because he trusted in God. He trusted in God. He was a man that he would say, he was obedient and he had an humble heart. And he loved the Lord and he wasn't wanting to be self-willed and do his own thing. Being stubborn, rebellious, self-willed. He wasn't like that. God wants to bless and use those people. He can use those people that are obedient to him and have the right spirit, have a right spirit. And that's what he had. So may we understand we each have a choice to make. Even if our leaders, if they make good choices, that's great. But if they don't make good choices, we still can. We still can, Chesley. I've known it when people had good leaders and some of the people decided to make wrong choices. It winds up being, we make choices and they make us. That's right, Chesley. That's a good thought. We make choices and they make us. So we've got to remember that to always make good choices, even if anyone does or not. Whether anyone follows with us or not, we will lead the way and make good choices because God blesses obedient people. That's what he does. And one day you get to go to him. And one day we get to go to heaven and live with him forever and ever. And right now, Chesley, you get to go to bed. Oh, go to bed. Oh, hey, you know something? Chesley, are you starting a stall job here? I just think we need to address it. I don't have the hat on. I know, Chesley, your hat's over there hanging on the post over there. And why isn't it on the head? Well, Chesley, we were getting started, and I thought that maybe they'd rather see your hair. They want to see the head. Well, Chesley, I think they want to see your hair every now and then. Yeah, I'm pretty good looking, too. Yes, you are very good looking. And you're stalling. So tell everybody goodbye, and you're ready to go to bed. Well, that's not true. I'm not ready. Well, Chesley, just say it's time to go to bed. We're glad to see Harmony is listening. And so, Chesley, we're glad to have Harmony listening. She lives, I think, up Tulsa way, and she's recovering from surgery. So we need to remember to pray for Harmony. Thank you for listening, Harmony, and all of the others that have not commented. We'd like to have your comments. Oh, yeah, tell them nothing good looking. No, Chesley, tell that. We'd like to know where they're listening from, and we'd like to know if they like the stories. If you have a favorite Bible story you want Chesley to tell, I'll sure be glad to do it if I know what it is. That's it. As soon as we know what it is, you just type it in the comments, and we'll be glad to do our best to tell that story. But right now, you need to go ahead and get ready for bed. Tell everybody goodbye. I got to tell you goodbye. And I ain't liking it, Chesley. I don't think you should fuss about going to bed. And there you are flirting with the girls. I know because I'm in love. Okay, but Chesley, I think you need to be in love with the bed. So you need to, you got to get over there and get sacked out. So tell everybody goodbye. I got to tell you goodbye. Then I sure don't want to go to bed. Then I guess I will because, I got to be a good example. That's right. You've got to be a good example. Well, it's been great having you all here today. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday afternoon, the Lord willing. You be blessed. And remember to be obedient. Always do the right thing, whether others do or not. God is watching, and we're so glad that He is. And He's watching us because He loves us. In fact, He loves us so much He can't keep His eyes off of us. That's it. He loves us so much He can't keep His eyes off of us. He's not looking at you to condemn you and criticize you, but He's encouraging us to do the right thing. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and we're saying goodbye.